Take a big breath. Become aware of your creativity. Become aware of your desire. And your silence. And we'll get started. How do you build your future? How do you build this future called you? The challenge is you have to use your future to build your future. Think about that for a moment. Use your future to build your future. Hard for people to wrap their brilliant brains around that, because what they're doing is they're using their past to build their future. I'll ask you what my mentor would ask me. How's that working for you? For many, it doesn't work so well. And therefore, they wind up building a memory of their past. What would it be like to build your future? What would it be like to have the future that you desire, the future that you want, the future that you think about, the future that you think about, the future that you talk about? Your future. What would that be like? Well, you have to ask your future. What would you ask your future this morning? Think about that for a second. What would you ask your future this morning? Would you ask it to be present? Would you ask it to be far away or close? Would you ask it to be happy or sad? This requires thinking. This requires you thinking about your future. It takes some space. Become aware of your future. The challenge is too many of us, too often, we stop thinking and we start remembering when we start to set goals. So I'll ask you, what do you remember about your future? What do you remember about your future? Kind of an odd, strange question, isn't it? What do you remember about your future? Well, if your future is going to be happy, you have some memories of your past that would make you happy. Why don't we call on those when we set our goals, when we reach our dreams, when we move towards our desired wants and wishes? Why don't we remember all of the good things about our future? We don't remember them because we don't think about them. We think about our future, we build our future from our past. Well, our past has gotten us to here. It can't get us to where we want to grow. It's why we have incremental growth. What happens when you fertilize a tree or a vegetable or a plant? What happens when you fertilize it? It grows. a little bit more? What happens when you water it? It grows a little bit better. What happens if you put it in good soil? It grows a little better. Is it possible that the seed has its potential, full potential, locked into the seed, and what reveals the fruit or the height or the leaves or the stem or the color of the flowers, does it have anything to do with what it's given to grow with? So what are you planting your seeds of your future? And are you planting it in your past? Or are you planting it in this new garden called your future? Why do we go to the harvest of our past to look for what we need to get from our future? Well, I set my goals and I set my tasks and I do my activities, but I can't do it more than 21 days. That's a long time to stay focused. Is it really a long time to stay focused? Think about this. You have put so much energy into failing kindly, politely to yourself that you've become good at it. Do you ever think about that? You've become good at failure. Tough question, tough question. What would it mean to become good at success? See, that might be a new idea you have to adopt. That might be an idea you have to let go, that I no longer choose to be good at failing. Well, Sean, failure isn't, if you just don't stop, you're not failing, you're learning. Pull this leg, I sing Jingle Bells. That's a good story. See how we soften our own delusional thinking? So let's really start to use our future to build our future. Think about the box. Little box in front of you, top left-hand corner of the box. You can write down the word. Some of you know this. You write down the word potential. How much potential does your future hold? Maybe I've never asked this question before. How much potential does your past hold? Well, there is no potential in my past. It's already over. It's already done. So how stark of a contrast is it to have unlimited potential in your future? Unlimited. So now, if we have unlimited potential, unlimited possibilities, that's the top left-hand corner. Top right-hand corner is actions. What actions? If you have unlimited possibilities, what actions do you take? So what do we use as the reference for our action? The most often used reference point for our actions is our past. How do I know this? Well, I'll ask you a question. Have you ever said, well, I can't do that? I think it was yesterday's meditation where we talked about the difference between I can't do that and changing that to I haven't done that yet. Now, we may want big goals, big dreams. We reach for the stars when we set conversations, when we set goals, and we're around other people who are reaching for the stars. You set big goals. I want to be this rank. I want to have that money. I want to have this income. I want to have that result. I want to have this home, that car, this relationship. God's not mean. He just gives you free will. So you have the free will to set the goal, to set the dream. And if you can dream it and believe it, you can have it. So if you can see it in your mind and you can believe it strong enough to allow yourself to leave the old identity behind. See, when you believe something, you are saying it's not true yet. I believe it's going to happen. That means that there's 99.999% chance it could happen, but there's still that 0.001% that it might not. It's like water at 211 degrees. Water boils at 212 at standard atmosphere. And you're like, but I've put all this energy into it to 211. I believe it can get to 212. I believe it can get to 212. Takes just a little bit more energy to get to 12, and then to turn it from vapor, from water, liquid into steam. The amount of energy is unbelievable. To get water at 212 to a boil, man, it takes so much more energy. Still inside of that 1 degree to be able to shift it into its boiling nature. Napoleon Hill talks about this as the burning desire. Can you boil your energy so that you just absolutely dissolve fear and doubt? What's scary about your future? Have you ever asked yourself that? If I want more money, what's scary about that? If I want a bigger house, what's scary about that? If I want better relationships, what's scary about that? If I want a new car, what's scary about that? If I want a new rank, what's scary about that? Why is it that we have to use the term, I got to get out of my comfort zone to get into my freedom zone? That doesn't make sense. It's because we're using our past to build our future. We have to use our future to build our future. So if you've got potential, unlimited potential, and you've got unlimited actions, and we take certain actions, actions produce what? Actions produce a result. Bottom right-hand corner of this box you're creating. Unlimited potential, unlimited actions, amazing results possible. But why are most people's results falling short? It's because of the action. Well, why do their actions fall short of their potential? It's because they don't have belief in their potential. So potential, actions, results, bottom left hand, belief. See, we get all busy about what script, what action, what strategy can I use? We justify our results. Well, you know, I tried, I quit, I stopped, I don't do that anymore. I'm not sharpening my saw every day. I don't get up for meditation every day. I want a journal. I want to be there. I want to do the things I want. And what happens? The universe absolutely 100% delivers on your request and gives you wanting. That's been your past. What happens when wanting goes away? What happens when you decide that you will have more of what you want, less of what you don't? Your identity shifts. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the thing that keeps us stuck, is us holding on and ripping the fabric of time and space to maintain an identity of an old story of maybe when we were successful, when we were younger, when we were this, when we were that. What if you found the key? What if you unlocked that part of you, that subconscious part of you that knows, that helps you dream, that helps you want to create, that helps you want to live your life to the highest level? What happens when you access that? Does life get more difficult, or does life get easier? What happens in our world when our life gets easier? We have a phrase for it. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm waiting for it to collapse. It can't stay. Everything good comes to an end. We have all of these phrases that run in our head that might come out of our mouth and limit our potential. Have you ever been sad about something? Something frustrates you 3 months ago? Can you even remember what it was? Is it the same level of frustration, or does that phrase, time heals all wounds? Why does it have to take so long? What is the healing that might need to happen inside of you and your body to allow your old self to die, to be let go, so that you can step into this new version of you? This is why we want to look at self-talk, why we want to look and understand neuroencoding, why we need to possibly visit this idea, this concept of becoming more mentally strong, mentally tough. Why, when we understand the value of audios and vibration and music, if there's a song that makes you start tapping your toes and shaking your hips, and you're just sitting still and you're like, oh man, crank it up. How many of you have a song that if it hits the radio or you start playing it in your headphones, you use it for your workout music, it just sets you on fire? That is vibration. That is audio vibration. And when you start to combine your belief in your future, and you start sitting and speaking from your future to build your future, and you start to use a new set of neuro-encoded patterns, you start to use a new set of surgically designed self-talk to cut through fear and doubt and procrastination. Then you start to monitor and measure your daily, hourly success. You begin to shift the tide, and all of a sudden you begin to raise your dreams. A lot of us have a huge boat of success. It's just sitting on the dirt right now because we are in an out tide, and it's time to allow that tide to come back in. You can call it. What if you started to call from your future? I call my success to me today. Just say that right now. I call my success to me right now. What do you hear? What do you feel? This is where tapping comes in, and energetic tapping in the meridians, and allowing you, so if you can safely, and you're in a safe spot, and you can make that fist and tap this part, that little fat part of your hand, and just start tapping it and say, probably haven't called on my future as much as I wanted to, as much as I could. I choose now, right now, from where I am, to call on my future and listen to my responses. I am calling my future right now to show up on this day, in this moment. I accept that. See this area here? Go ahead, rub your hands together, shake them out. This area right here, just this meridian, it's kind of connected to the root chakra. It's a statement that says that allows you to accept where you are, where most times we're not willing to accept where we are, but accessing that little meridian right there does some pretty cool things in our body. So can you start using your future to build your future? Seems like an odd concept. Well, I haven't done it yet, so I don't know what to do. Well, this is called visualization. Mental toughness, overcoming addiction to approval. You see why it's so challenging? Somebody says, write down your goal, tell me your why, and you know how many whys are splattered on the walls of hotels and living rooms and journals of everybody who shared their whys. And I want to take care of my mom or my kids or my grandparents or my pets or my this, and they have their why, but nothing in their past gives them the permission to live the why. How do I know? You ain't there yet. It doesn't take a lifetime to reach your dreams. We've been programmed that it takes 20, 30, 40 years to reach our dreams. Well, when you're not doing what you were put here for, when you're not doing what you love to do, when you're not doing the things in a certain way, Wallace D. Wattles, it's not about doing certain things, it's about doing things in a certain way. And today that changes. Today you give yourself permission to let that shift, to let that change, so that you can start using your future to build your future. That's my conversation with you this morning in meditation. I'm going to go have a little dialogue with my inner circle in the VIP community. You can get more access to that if you go to unlearnme.live, unlearnme.live. We'll have a little conversation there. All right, everybody, I love you tons, and sit with that, breathe that in, and we'll get started in just a moment.
Sound asleep and too afraid of what might show up while you're dreaming. Nobody sees you. Nobody will believe you. And every day you try to pick up all the pieces, all the memories, they somehow never leave you. Nobody sees you. Nobody will believe you. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows. You keep a cover over every single secret, so afraid if someone saw them they would leave. But somebody sees you. Somebody will never leave you. God only knows knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows.
All right. Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's just us. So,
The misunderstood and the ones to blame. What if we could start over? We could start over. We could start over.